Good afternoon. Welcome to your 4 to 5. I'm Eric Chilton alongside Maddie Gardner and Tahisha Moyes. It is Friday, everybody.
And I truly did not think we were going to make it to this Friday. So I'm so glad we are here. I'm glad you're joining us on the 4 to 5, where we like to inform you, make you feel connected, and let you into our world.
Yes, and we'd like you to be part of the conversation. We live stream this show on the WFMY News 2 Facebook page, so you can share your thoughts right now.
The first healthcare workers in Greensboro received their coronavirus vaccines this morning. More than 50 employees got their shot today, but about 5,500 doses are ready to go at Cone Health. Healthcare workers told our WFMY News 2's Grace Holland that they're feeling a sense of relief. Grace?
I saw a lot of smiles and laughs as folks lined up to get those vaccines today. Really just a happy mood here at the Green Valley campus, probably for the first time in a long time. And the first person to get the shot was Dr. Brent McQuaid, who leads medical workers at Cone Health's coronavirus hospital. He gave a big thumbs up after getting the vaccine, and he says he didn't feel a thing from the needle, but it means a lot.
It really gives a lot of hope, because that's what we need right now. You know, there's rising numbers, there's lots and lots of patients that are out there. Fortunately, we've got a very good response here at Cone, but the community needs hope.
More than 50 healthcare workers got their first vaccines at Green Valley this morning. This is just the beginning of Cone Health's rollout for the vaccine. Those most at risk for coming in contact with the virus are getting their shots now, and the first healthcare workers at Moses Cone Hospital will get their vaccines over the weekend. Now keep in mind, this is just the beginning for Dr. McQuaid and the others who got their shots today. They will get their second vaccine on January 8th.
On Thursday, the FDA approved the Moderna coronavirus vaccine, making it the second vaccine approved here in the U.S. Members of the Vaccines and Related Biological Products Advisory Committee voted 20-0 in favor of the vaccine. One member declined to vote. Federal officials say nearly 6 million doses could be shipped across the country as soon as next week.
And just days after the historic first shots, misinformation about the COVID-19 vaccines is still spreading. So what is the difference between the two, and how do they work? Let's take a closer look.
The first thing to know about these two vaccines is that they're largely similar. Data shows both are between 94 and 95% effective. Both require 2 doses. Neither is a live virus vaccine. Neither affects your body's DNA. Reported side effects for both are nearly identical. And both use new vaccine technology called mRNA.
mRNA are basically injected in the vaccine. It gets into your cell and then teaches your cell basically how to make the virus protein to mount an immune response.
Now the differences. Pfizer's vaccine requires your booster shot 3 weeks or 21 days after the first. Moderna's booster comes 4 weeks or 28 days later. Pfizer's vaccine was approved for use in people ages 16 and older. If approved, Moderna's will be available for people 18 and up. And storage. By now, you know Pfizer's vaccine has to be stored in super cold temperatures. Moderna's is a little different. I asked Dr. James Cutrell to explain why.
The mRNA itself is not very stable at room temperature. Once you take it and put it in the refrigerator, the Pfizer vaccine's only stable for about 5 days. The Moderna vaccine, on the other hand, from the data that we have from the company, appears to be stable at refrigerator temperature for about 30 days. There's something about the Moderna vaccine, most likely the way the lipid nanoparticle is created, that allows it to be a little bit more stable for a longer period of time in the refrigerator.
Let's do this.
Once out of the fridge, both vaccines have to be used within 5 or 6 hours. Otherwise, that mRNA starts to degrade. At this point, experts think more Pfizer vaccine will be sent to bigger hospitals with capacity for those deep freezers, and Moderna's will go to clinics or smaller hospitals that don't have those freezers. Something to remember, and this is important, you can't mix and match vaccines.
Because that's the way that it's been studied. And so the answer to the question of which one you should take is really whichever one you're offered to get first.
It's time to verify some questions surrounding COVID-19 vaccines. Today's question was emailed to us from a viewer who was worried about his mother in an assisted living facility. He said, I have recently heard the COVID-19 vaccine cannot be administered until at least 30 days after known infection, 90 days if they get the monoclonal antibody cocktail. Is this true? Well, to verify, I spoke with Dr. Rebecca Bean, Senior Vice President of Pharmacy at Novant Health, and Dr. Chris Uhl, an infectious disease expert at Wake Forest Baptist Health Medical Center. So let's start with the monoclonal antibody treatment. Both Dr. Uhl and Dr. Bean say you do need to wait to get a vaccine 90 days after receiving the treatment.
This is because we do not have any data yet available on the patients that have also received monoclonal antibody treatment, and there could potentially be some interference between the vaccine and the treatment.
Doctors Uhl and Bean say getting the vaccine too soon could weaken the effectiveness of the antibody treatment. So that part of the question is verified. Yes, you need to wait 90 days after getting the monoclonal antibody treatment to get a COVID vaccine. Okay, so now let's dive into when you should get a vaccine if you had the virus or are currently battling it. Do you need to wait 30 days? Well, both doctors say, no, you don't necessarily need to wait 30 days. Rather, if you had COVID-19, you can get the vaccine when you don't have any symptoms and when your quarantine period is over. But guidance is a little different when it comes to exposure. Dr. Bean says if you've been exposed to the virus, you need to wait until your quarantine period is over as well. But if you live at a long-term care facility and you've been exposed there, you can get the vaccine anytime.
The healthcare providers are already, taking care of them every day. What we wouldn't want to happen is somebody's been exposed and then they potentially expose somebody at a vaccination clinic.
Another concerning day for COVID-19 cases in our state. We shattered last week's record for the most cases in a single day with more than 8,400 new cases today. Hospitalizations also broke another consecutive record with 2,824 people. The daily percent positive is now at 10.5%. And sadly, more than 6,100 people have died from the virus.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup right now. Just over half of nurses here in North Carolina say they won't get a COVID-19 vaccine. That's according to a new survey by the North Carolina Nurses Association. The poll was conducted last week as the FDA considered whether to authorize the Pfizer vaccine. It found about 56.5% of nurses said they would get it voluntarily. Another 26.7% were unsure, while 16.7% said no. Association President Dr. Dennis Taylor says there's more work to do to communicate with healthcare workers in an effort to boost confidence in the vaccines among them and the general public. 21 people were arrested as part of a large drug network connected to multiple fraternities across universities here in North Carolina, including UNC Chapel Hill, Duke, and App State. The Orange County Sheriff's Office and the DEA started their investigation in 2018. The investigation revealed the suspects transported hundreds of kilograms of cocaine, LSD, Molly, mushrooms, steroids, and other narcotics. Deputies estimate the drugs were worth more than $1.5 million over the course of their 3-year investigation. Coca Cola plans to cut 2,200 jobs globally, including 1,200 in the U.S. The company says the pandemic was not a cause for the changes, but a catalyst to move faster. The news of job cuts come as millions of Americans are already stuck on unemployment benefits, while a wave of new COVID-19 infections hurts business operations. About 500 job cuts will be in Metro Atlanta, where Coca Cola's headquarters is based.
Temperatures today, a little bit on the cool side. We should be around 50 for high temperatures. Right now, we stand at 44 in the Triad, 45 for Raleigh, 48 in Fayetteville, up to 50 for Myrtle Beach, and we have 49 in Wilmington area. Boone's at 28, by the way. We'll see overnight lows tonight at 27, partly cloudy skies, fairly chilly. Tomorrow, we only make it up to 47. We do see a little bit of a warming trend coming up, but not so much tomorrow. Clouds will start to build in. for your Saturday. We think that as this next system approaches, we do have that rain chance possible as we head into Sunday, but it just looks like fairly cool conditions and some additional clouds for your Saturday. So look at the surface map. There's the high pressure. It moves off the coast. On the left side, the winds will coming out of the south, so that's a warming trend. But notice that rain Sunday, and we think that'll be probably second half of the day Sunday as that low pressure and the cold front kind of skirt through. We'll have increased shower chances for those periods. So again, to recap, overnight lows at 27 tonight. Winds will be fairly light, scattered clouds. Tomorrow, more clouds and 47. Here's your 7-day forecast. As we see those temperatures stay in the 40s through the weekend, rain chance Sunday and maybe Monday morning, a high Monday 52. We go in the low to mid 50s with sunny to partly cloudy skies Tuesday, Wednesday. Christmas Eve, some rain during the day, 58. An overnight low of 25. Next day, we're calling for partly cloudy skies on Christmas with a cold high of 35 degrees.
Welcome back to your 4 to 5. Having your first child is an exciting but certainly stressful moment for any parents. But in the midst of a global pandemic, the stakes are even higher. I met a Triad family who knows that all too well.
It was the best day of our lives, but also the worst.
This is certainly not how Jordan and John Eric Johnson thought the birth of their first child would look. The couple only together through a FaceTime call. The day before Jordan was scheduled to deliver their baby girl, John Eric was tested for COVID-19.
Came out and said, "I'm sorry, but you're positive."
Jordan tested negative before going to the hospital, but 2 days after having Olivia Rose, that changed.
I was terrified. Not really for myself, but for Olivia. I was thinking I'd be okay, but I didn't know how it would affect her, and if she got it, what her symptoms would be, if she would have to be hospitalized, if I could be with her if she did have to be hospitalized. It was just all these racing thoughts.
Dr. Anna Miller Fitzwater, who took care of them at Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center, said an entire team was planning for Olivia's arrival.
We actually had a conference before Ms. Johnson came in for induction with the directors of all 3 service lines to sort of say, how can we do this the safest for for the family. And we decided to play it a little precautious, but again, keep mom with Olivia with simple precautions.
Jordan wore a mask nearly 24 hours a day, only taking it off to eat, shower, and brush her teeth. John Eric saw Olivia in person for the first time, masked and through a glass door. 2 months later, the Johnson family is together and healthy, and Olivia never got sick. Even with this story's happy ending, this new family says they wouldn't wish it on anyone.
Take the precautions and stay safe, because it's not worth missing out on those huge special moments.
Goodness. When I was speaking with the couple this morning, guys, I was asking John Eric especially, how did it feel holding your daughter for the first time after watching her come into this world on FaceTime, only being able to see her through a glass door for 10 days while Jordan isolated in her parents' basement? What was it like when you finally got to hold Olivia? And he said he was nervous because he hadn't held too many babies, but that moment was magical. That's the word he used.
Yeah, you know, it's amazing to me because I recently had a relative who had a child in the middle of all this, and you don't think about it until you think about it. And all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, the risks are higher than they normally are in a normal situation. And it's very stressful for the parents. But I think once you come through and everything's safe, you just count your blessings at that point.
Yeah, and there's just a lot of different aspects of this pandemic you don't think about, right, Maddie and Eric, until you're in it, like in that moment. Now, you may have mentioned it in the story, but do you have to wear a mask when you're giving birth? I would imagine that's hard.
So I don't know about this particular situation, Tasha, but my sister gave birth to twins in Texas back in June, and she and her husband both had to wear face masks during the delivery. And during this delivery especially, you know, Jordan was suspected of having COVID because her husband had tested positive the day before. So all of the doctors, all of the nurses in the room had to have on that full PPE. And then you saw Jordan was wearing an N95 mask whenever she was around Olivia.
Wow. Well, I'm so glad that they're all okay right now and are able to be together.
Right. Did you see that picture at the end? Adorable little girl. Congratulations to them. The 4 to 5 is coming right back. Stick around.
All I have to say, people, if you're not watching on Facebook during the commercial breaks, you're missing out. It is the weekend, and we are all about small getaways that are safe, of course, during the times that we're going through now. Well, here's one. It's not too far away, and it promises to lift your spirits, literally. Welcome to the Yadkin Yuletide Sippin' Tour is what they call it. I spoke with here's some of my conversation, rather, with Jamie Johnson. She's with Shadow Springs Vineyards. Jamie, everybody's looking for a way to get a little break, kind of somewhat of a escape, and this sipping tour sounds pretty cool. Tell me all about this. How does this work?
Well, it is an event that the Yadkin County TDA, the tourism department, puts on. This is the second year that we've done it. You buy a ticket through them, and then you get to go to each vineyard and have a little sipping, and you get an ornament. So this year it's a little bit different because of COVID, that we are doing mostly flights and not true tastings where everyone stands at the bar. So you choose the 4 wines that you would like in your flight, you take them, and then you sit and enjoy them away from the bar so that we can continue to serve other customers as they come through. And then at the end of it, you have wine and you have your ornament to take to decorate your tree.
You know, it's perfect when I think about this because obviously safety is number one for everybody right now, but it does give you a break to make it feel like you're just going and doing something else. You know, I mean, don't you think this is sort of a mental break for people?
Oh, absolutely. You know, folks have really enjoyed it. It gives them a reason to get out of the house, I think. They feel pretty safe here because we are all practicing lots of cleanliness and trying to keep people spread apart. We have all our tables spread out. Like I said, we are limiting the number of people in the building. And so, especially during the week when they come, it just seems like they're out having a good time like they normally would.
I think we're all just adjusting, and you can still have some good experiences and be safe at the same time. Jamie, thanks so much. Good luck with this. I know it runs through the end of the month, and this is going to be fun.
Yes, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, so we mentioned that it only runs through the end of the month, so if you're interested, you need to check it out. I put a link. I'm actually still working on this web story right now, but it'll be up in another hour or so you can get in there and check it all out. Yadkin Valley, now, you know, we all know the Yadkin Valley wineries. They stick together as a tight group. This is a really good kind of tour where you can make it, you could almost make this a 2-day thing and visit a bunch of different wineries.
Oh, I like the idea of that. It's a sip and swirl all around the Yadkin Valley, right? I saw a llama in there. How does the llama fit in? I saw it in a picture.
Not sure.
Okay.
Well, there's that.
I missed the picture taste. Did he have a Santa hat on?
No.
Oh.
No.
So just a llama, not a festive llama, not a fa la 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 llama. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Llama, no drama at the winery.
No drama.
That's what it is.
I think this truly is a great idea, though.
We're going to weather. I don't know. I didn't see that. I missed. How did I miss in my own story that there was a picture of a llama? I don't know. Maybe there's a llama farm close by. Is that a thing? It is now. Forecast-wise, we'll talk about what's happening with temperature. Boy, can you tell it's Friday? It's Friday, people. It just gets worse from here on. Stick around. 44 in Greensboro, 46 Burlington, Asheboro 43, Mount Airy at 39, and 37 in Wilkesboro. Your planning forecast for tomorrow, we start out chilly, and we stay pretty chilly all day. 50 is the normal high. We're a little below that. 47, that'll be the high. Clouds do start to build in throughout the day Saturday, and then we have a rain chance coming in on Sunday. This low pressure is approaching us from really the Gulf area, but also a cold front that sort of joined hands with that. You can see what that looks like here on the surface chart. That'll bring us some rain for Sunday and into Monday. I will tell you the big story as I skip ahead to our 7-day. Let's look ahead to Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. 58 and rain on Thursday. That's Christmas Eve, but Christmas Day, the low that morning, 25, and we've got rain Thursday. We'll be watching that closely. For now, we'll just call for clearing skies on Christmas Day and mid-30s. We'll see.
Yes, we are in a pandemic, but that doesn't mean there aren't reasons to take a step back and enjoy life. We can all find some good happening all across the Triad, country, and world. So WFMY News 2's Megan Molaris takes a look at all the good things that happened to you this past week.
Glenda's missing package showed up at the post office, and she was so happy she was in tears. Robin's temporary job of 3 years turned permanent, and she is thrilled to be with a great company and great boss. Beth's son is home from college. Rose's beautiful great-granddaughter, Crislin, turned 8 months old and weighs 22 pounds. Michael has been sober for 2 weeks. Kay got to see her great-grandchildren. Carl feels blessed to just have woken up and is looking forward to the holiday season. Shirley echoes that sentiment, saying she feels blessed every day with Jesus watching over her. And Tanya said while 2020 has been rough, she's thankful for good health, family, food on her table, and so much more.
I love it. I love all the good things happening. Now, my good thing isn't major, but for me, it's major. I enjoyed another great decadent milkshake, and now I've made it a mission that I'm going to go out to eat and enjoy something by myself once a week. So it's something I'm looking forward to.
I saw milkshake number 2 on your Instagram story. What was the flavor of this one? Because I was intrigued.
It had peanut butter in it, whipped cream, chocolate fudge, Nutter Butters, Hershey's chocolate, and a cherry, and I ate it all.
Well, if you ever feel like you need someone to come and socially distantly enjoy a milkshake with you, I made up a word there, I'm your girl.
All right, 2 cups.
Anytime, children. Anytime.
Yo, you didn't say anything about what good happened to you.
What? It's your turn.
I was last. Okay, just saying. That's what it says on the rundown. All I'm saying is that my twins are applying for colleges, and so far we're 2 for 2. We're still waiting on Bryce's. Bryce's has his heart set on one particular school, so we're still waiting on that one. But so far, so good.
That is great news. My good news is that Christmas is next week, and I'm very excited for it.
Yes.
Yay!
What was that? Oh, vacation. So good. Share your good news with us on our live stream. You can find us on the WFMY News 2 Facebook page. Just look for the 4 to 5 live stream and the comment section.
Hey, yo, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. They forever go together like a classic combination. Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to your 4 to 5. I'm Eric Chilton alongside Maddie Gardner and Tahisha Moyes.
You can tell it's Friday if you are watching our Facebook live stream because a lot of shenanigans are happening during the commercial break. But as always, the 4 to 5 is here to inform you, make you feel connected, and let you into our world.
I mean, there are shenanigans happening during the show. Did you see the last segment before we went to break?
Yes, and can I comment on that before we move on? Eric, you were right.
Go ahead.
I was supposed to go second, and you were supposed to speak last. So I'm owning up to that on
I was
television.
just waiting for some good news from you.
I will take responsibility. I was slated to speak before you.
That's very big of you. Thank you, Maddie, for admitting that. All right. Well, if you want to join in on the conversation, maybe you want to leave your 2 cents, you can comment in the chat section as we live stream this show on the WFMY News 2 Facebook page. All right, Congress needs to pass a spending bill today to keep the government open. Time is ticking, and it's looking more and more likely that lawmakers will pass a stopgap measure to give them more time as they negotiate a nearly $3 trillion package to help people and businesses impacted by the coronavirus pandemic. Democrats say Republicans are holding up the bill, insisting on adding language that would take away the Federal Reserve's ability to create lending programs. But Republicans are hopeful the bill will eventually pass.
Democratic leaders, Speaker Pelosi, Leader McCarthy, and I have been working around the clock for several days now. The talks remain productive. In fact, I'm even more optimistic now than I was last night.
In other news, Vice President Mike Pence received Pfizer's coronavirus vaccine live on television today. Second Lady Karen Pence and Surgeon General Jerome Adams also received the shot. And they're not the only high-ranking public officials that will get the vaccine publicly. President-elect Joe Biden, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell all say they will get the vaccine early next week in front of the American people.
Well, listen to this. Hundreds of COVID-19 patients in Minnesota would be battling the virus in the hospital, but are instead getting better at home. The Minnesota hospital gives patients who are admitted with the virus a choice. You can stay there or go home with all the technology that you need to stay healthy. A paramedic comes into your house to set everything up. Sometimes it includes an iPad where you can talk to doctors and even an oxygen tank. A nurse will then stop by each day to check up on you as well. I think that's important to note. Someone is coming by and checking up on you guys. But when I read this story, that just shows me how severe the situation in hospitals is getting. And when I say that, I mean how many people are being admitted to hospitals with the virus, that they are sending patients who need oxygen home.
Right, because there isn't enough space for them, but they still need to get that care. I will say, though, that they thankfully have technology like this where we can still monitor patients. I don't know, it's still a little worrisome that they do have to be sent home, but if maybe they're not as severe enough that they don't have to be admitted in the ICU, maybe that's still a good thing.
Right, I'm sure there is a spectrum where the patients who are very bad off aren't given this option.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too, is I'm hoping they're kind of, assessing their level and saying, okay, these people have to be in the hospital, these can go home, because we know the range of symptoms is from nothing to severe. So there's a lot of wiggle room there.
It's a good point, Chilton. Even if I had very mild symptoms, which we pray that I don't get the virus, but I needed to be in the hospital because of those symptoms, I would want to stay in the hospital where someone who knows what they're doing is watching me around the clock. Just my personal preference.
Your 2 cents. We got it, Maddie.
Once again.
All right, let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup right now. Some other headlines of the day. U.S. officials say a massive cyber attack that was discovered last week and blamed on Russia was far more wide-reaching than previously thought. Reports say the security breach has struck at least 7 government agencies. CBS News has learned evidence of the hack was detected at the Department of Energy, which maintains the nation's nuclear weapons stockpile. In a statement, the department said so far there is no evidence the hack impacted nuclear weapons security. CBS News says President Trump has been briefed on the attack but has not made any public comments about it. Maryland is instituting new limits on public gatherings and travel ahead of the holiday season in an effort to contain COVID-19. Indoor gatherings are now limited to 10 people, and any non-essential travel is being strongly advised against. Anyone traveling to or from Maryland must have a negative COVID-19 test or self-quarantine for 10 days after arrival. Violation of the travel order is a misdemeanor that could result in up to a year in jail or up to a $5,000 fine. And CVS Health will spend about $60 million to provide nearly 200,000 employees with extra cash for working during the pandemic. The pharmacy chain confirmed that roughly 2/3 of its workforce would receive an additional $250 in January. CVS has played a major role in providing access to COVID-19 testing and will soon begin administering vaccines to residents and workers at nursing homes and other long-term care facilities across the U.S. as part of an arrangement with the federal government.
All right, we'll look at the radar here, and you notice that most of the cloud cover is back to our west, but it is moving in our direction, so look for on your Saturday. I think we'll start out with a few less clouds, end up with clouds building in before Sunday's rain with the next system that will move by. So high pressure moves on to the east, and our winds will shift a little bit out of the south. That's somewhat of a warming trend for us over the next couple of days. But notice that cold front going through Sunday during the day, plus there's that low pressure down to the south that'll move north and east. That'll help us with rain chances on those 2 days. But for tonight, clear to partly cloudy and 27 degrees. The low, tomorrow's high, only 47. Winds out of the south, 5 to 10. So that'll warm us up to that 51 on Monday. There'll be some rain on your Sunday. Just know that that's in the cards. Tuesday, Wednesday, sunny to partly cloudy, low to mid 50s. Look at this, though. Christmas Eve, 58 with some rain. The overnight low is 25. That timing of that rain is going to be very important. For now, we're holding off on any predictions of winter weather, but 35 for Christmas Day.
Well, we know many restaurants around the country are just trying to stay afloat during the pandemic. And now a few restaurants in St. Louis, Missouri are getting creative with how to bring a few more bucks, especially during the cold winter months. They're adding a $5 fuel charge to each bill for each hour spent at the restaurant to keep the heaters on outside. Some are even offering monthly charges to help customers save money at the same time.
So let's bring you into the conversation. I asked you on my Facebook page today, would you pay the fee? Why or why not? It was a really good discussion today, and there's still time to make your voice heard, but let's take a look at some of the comments. Cheryl says, if I felt it necessary to go eat out somewhere, yes, I would. People push to have restaurants open, so they'll need to help offset the extra costs associated. I've still mostly been doing delivery or curbside pickup. Maury Kennedy says, I'm not normally one to be petty about stuff, but that seems petty enough to be petty about, LOL. I should be able to assume a restaurant will provide a comfortable setting for me to spend money on their food. Gracie Road says, I agree with Maury here. I'm just not going to frequent a restaurant if they make me also pay for the privilege of eating outside. It'll just be as if they didn't have room. I'd go elsewhere. Wanda Creedle says, well, it goes with everything else this year. If you want to sit outside and stay warm, then someone will have to pay. And Eddie Eatman has an idea here. Make it $10 for half of your money to go to a charity, preferably education. Makes it not sound so bad. I think the thing here is paying extra. That's the thing that people are upset about. I'm kind of in the camp, if I want to eat outside and I don't feel comfortable eating inside, then I'm going to pay the $5 because someone has to pay for that. And it's not a big deal. It's $5.
As long as they're transparent about the added fee, I don't see where it would be an issue because you have the choice to eat there or not after knowing about that extra charge. When restaurants started taking precautions, putting up plexiglass, adding extra chairs outside, extra tables outside, I thought about the costs that they would have to incur to do all of that to make customers feel safe while already struggling because they were shut down for so many weeks at the start of this.
Yeah, to me, my initial reaction with this was like, no, I'm not paying that. But then the more I thought about it, I love sitting outside, and sometimes even when it's chilly, it doesn't bother me at all. So I thought to myself, no, actually, the amount of times that you go out to eat, I mean, most people kind of hold off and try to save a little money and go out sporadically. I'd pay the $5 to have that luxury, really.
Yeah, a good discussion, though, Taysha. Good question.
Home Alone and Christmas Vacation. They are two holiday staples. I've watched both already. How about you, Maddie?
I have Clark Griswold coming out of my body right now. Yes, I love these movies. I've watched Home Alone and Home Alone 2, but I haven't seen Christmas Vacation just yet, but I will watch it.
Okay, because I always wrap my presents to Christmas Vacation, so I did that the other night. Now, while both of these movies, very funny, crazy things happen in them, right? And if those kinds of crazy things happened in our houses, well, it would not be so funny, right? So let me just kind of give you like a few snapshots of things that have happened. Tree fires, broken windows, all kinds of crazy stuff happening in the movies. If it happens in real life too, it does, because just like the Griswold family, we are all human.
We let our guard down because we always assume that it won't happen to us. So we step away from the kitchen for a little bit. We don't check the heaters before we go to bed, or we overload a circuit thinking it can handle it. And that is the most dangerous mindset that we can take.
Ryan Stokes is a property damage appraiser. He says that first mistake is thinking that's not going to happen to us. And our second mistake is not having a list of the things in your house that you would want and need to be replaced. Because when you have some kind of disaster at your house, the onus is on you with the list to say, hey, this is what needs to be replaced.
For example, when property damage appraisers, our company, goes out and a customer has a list and has documentation about all the valuables in their home, it's a cut and dry situation. It's whenever it gets into trying to remember what you had, how much it was worth, what you paid for it. All of those things come into play.
All right, so that may sound a little overwhelming to have a list. Let me tell you how easy it is. You have your phone right here, right? You're going to put it on video mode, and you're just going to walk all the way around the house, and you're going to videotape things that are valuable. Like, say, for instance, here's the TV. I'm going to videotape the TV, and if I can go around the back and see the serial number on it, I'm going to videotape that as well. That way I know what make, model, year that I have, and I don't have to try and think about it. Then you email yourself that video. You also email your insurance adjuster, and we're talking about doing this ahead of time before any disaster happens. Okay, on our website right now, in the 2 wants to know section, we have a story about how to do a home inventory, because maybe you don't want to do it on your phone. Maybe you want the good old-fashioned checklist. We've got that for you too. Hey, 2 wants to know is talking all things stimulus and your money. We have 2 experts in tonight talking about the second stimulus, what it could look like, what happens if you didn't get the first one, and how the CARES Act can actually help you on your taxes next year. You can text your questions 336-379-5775.
Hello. Yeah, what does quick mean? Like, how many seconds should we each talk for? That would be helpful. Okay.
You know, a lot of people are worried. Of course, we're talking about how the COVID cases are going up and eating out at restaurants. Some people are concerned, but there's one Greensboro restaurant that offers truly zero contact service, and it's all because of some remarkable new technology. I spoke with Anthony Knotts, the owner of Seafood Destiny, about this new invention. Anthony, I'm a huge tech geek, so when I heard about these kiosks you have, I said, this is really cool. Tell me how it works, and then we'll talk a little bit about, I mean, this is very rare. Not many people have this, but how do these things work?
Well, I mean, we're living in a time right now with the pandemic that it's a contactless society. And so the whole thing about the Yummy Box is that people will literally be able to go online, place their order. We will then send them a text notification letting them know that their order is on the way. They can respond that they're on the way. And then when they get here, they'll take the 4-digit alphabet code that we give them, walk up to the kiosk, enter that in, and then they will receive a 4-digit code letting them know which locker their food is in, and then they enter that code into the smart locker, and then they can reach in and get their food.
So this thing it keeps the food warm, I'm assuming, too, until they get there. It's like a food locker.
Yes, sir. It's a smart locker, food locker. It's layered in insulation, and what we plan on doing is just putting it in there. They're given 25 minutes to come in and pick it up, but then after 25 minutes, we'll take it out and everything. But we're really, really excited about this because, you know, with us being a startup company, we haven't done online. People haven't been able to order and pay online. So now they'll be able to do that and everything. And then they'll be able to just walk in, go to the kiosk, enter the pin in, like I said, and get their food and walk straight back out.
And this is really rare, right? Because it's a new product. There aren't many around.
So we're the first here in North Carolina. We're the first in the East Coast, but we're the 5th Yummy Box location all over the world right now. So we're early adapters.
Well, that's great stuff you're doing, man. High tech, whatever it takes these days. Good luck with this, Anthony. Thanks a lot.
Welcome back to your 4 to 5. One of my favorite parts of the holiday season is getting cards from people. I've gotten some amazing ones this year, but definitely fewer than last year and the year before. I've noticed a trend in the past few years. So I ask you on Facebook, do you send Christmas cards? And Southern Blankenship says, I've always sent Christmas cards. I also like to send thinking of you, and birthday cards. I like to get them, so I think others do too. Stacy says, I used to. I will likely start back next year, trying to save some money this year. And unfortunately, that was an expense I needed to cut. Barbara Hilton says, yes, I do send them out, always have, and as long as I am able, I will continue this tradition. Too many traditions are going away. One day I will be one of the people sending them out, but I do enjoy getting them. Maybe I would get more if I sent more cards out.
Yeah, well, there is that thing, it is better to give than to receive, right? Well, I got a couple cards this week and I was very excited, but I do want to be able to send it one day, but I want to take a picture and I got to wait till it's not just me, because that's weird.
Right, me and my cat Stewie would be lovely on a Christmas card.
We used to send them out a lot, and then we kind of slacked off for a little bit. But here's the thing: my wife may send them out every year, and I could be completely clueless because that does happen. Let's be honest.
I love it. Hey, if you want to see the best Christmas card of the year featuring my adorable nieces, you can check out my Facebook page. Just look for Maddie Gardner News. They're so perfect. You need to go look right now. 4 to 5's coming back. Stick around.
Yes, mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Mic check. Hello.
This is really just the beginning. The Green Valley healthcare workers that were vaccinated today will get their second shots in early January, but other Cone Health
Mic check. Hello, 4 to 5 viewers. Do you like our dancing crew in the booth? 1 2 3 4 5 6.
Hello, Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado.
I have a very serious question for you, Cammie. Have you ever had figgy pudding? What is figgy pudding? It does not sound appetizing. Who's chiming in? Who said it's good? Matt, you... Oh, okay. I was like, you like this? I'm not judging.
You know, today I wanted to talk about the holidays, and for me, it's Christmas, is what my family celebrates. And growing up in Mount Airy in a tiny house with 7 of us, 5 kids and mom and dad in a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom house, we didn't have a whole lot, but we sure were happy. And when I look back on those memories, the nostalgia is huge. Now, my parents have passed on, so this message is for those of you that have loved ones that aren't here with us this go around. Take a look at some of these. Whether it was going to see Santa Claus, I don't know why my parents felt the need to put me in a coat and tie to see Santa, but you know, it was still fun memories. I remember all those Christmas mornings, especially when I was really little and all of my siblings who were older than me were with me opening presents. This one always makes me laugh because I had my Etch-a-Sketch upside down. I had a few things to learn. As I got older, sitting on the floor with my father while we opened presents, Christmas took on a different meaning, but it was always so special. My parents made Christmas special for all of us. It didn't matter how old you are, whether you're a little kid with the magic and the glow of Christmas, or as you get older, just spending time with your loved ones. I even found a Christmas list I had done. It looks like about 4th grade or so. I felt the need, always wanting to draw cartoons, to draw everything that I was asking for Christmas. But you know, those memories make us smile and laugh, don't they? Wonderful memories of my parents. And I will tell you this, that although of course it's sad when you don't have your loved ones there with you on Christmas, now I turn toward my own children, but I keep that memory and the love of my mom and dad in my heart. It will never go away. And as long as we all keep their memories and our love for them in our hearts and minds, they're with us on Christmas. And that's just my 2 cents. And that's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
What a week. The first coronavirus vaccines arrived in our state on Monday. Vaccination started in the Triad on Tuesday, and then more Triad hospitals received shipments and started administering shots. And today was Cone Health's turn. More than 50 healthcare workers at the Green Valley campus in Greensboro got vaccinated this morning.
WFMY News 2's Grace Holland watched as they rolled up their sleeves for the shot. She joins us live with details on when other Cone workers will get theirs.
This is really just the beginning. Those Green Valley healthcare workers vaccinated today will get their second shot in January, and other Cone Health hospital workers will start to get theirs next week.
The clinic starts next week, so I would say to people, my people at Alamance in Burlington, please sign up. And as you see, this doesn't even hurt. You don't even feel the shot going in there. It was like butter.
Jayashri Ravishankar is an infectious disease doctor at Alamance Regional Medical Center. She was among those vaccinated today, although her fellow healthcare workers there will start getting vaccinated on Tuesday. Most of the other healthcare workers vaccinated today work at Green Valley themselves, caring for some of Cone's sickest coronavirus patients. They say this gives them hope.
It kind of is like telling us that this pandemic will come to an end. So I think that's what's exciting about this. The shot was really painless.
Healthcare workers who are most at risk for the exposure to the virus are receiving the vaccine first as part of the state's distribution plan. And Moses Cone hospital workers will start getting their vaccinations on Sunday. At any Penn hospital in Reedsville, they won't get their shots until December 29th.
Grace, thank you. Vice President Mike Pence got the COVID-19 vaccine this morning. Pence leaves the White House Coronavirus Task Force and took the shot in front of a board that read, quote, safe and effective. It's a message he's touting to build public trust. Pence is the highest ranking politician to publicly receive the vaccine. He also said the country is on track to administer millions of vaccines. The FDA is expected to approve a second coronavirus vaccine for emergency use sometime today. Moderna's vaccine won a near unanimous recommendation from an FDA advisory panel yesterday. The Moderna vaccine was 94% effective at trials and does not require the ultra-cold storage that Pfizer's vaccine does. Federal officials say nearly 6 million doses could be shipped across the country as soon as next week.
And that vaccine can't come soon enough. Check out our newest coronavirus data. The state says it learned of a whopping 8,444 new cases in the past day. That's 900 more than the last record we set last Friday. I said yesterday we're expecting to see an increase in cases since more people are getting tested before Christmas. But this also shows the virus is still spreading. Hospitalizations are also important. Right now, the state says 2,824 North Carolinians are in the hospital with the virus, another record. Now, this number is important because, in my opinion, this is the best gauge of how we're doing. Some might argue new cases or percent positives are a better indication, but if no one got tested tomorrow, both of those numbers would drop to zero. Hospitalizations would not be impacted.
Tomorrow's Wake Forest Florida State football game is canceled due to recent COVID-19 cases on the Seminoles team. The game would have been the last for 17 Wake Forest seniors, so the Senior Day ceremony will be live streamed tonight. The players will be honored on social media throughout the weekend. The Demon Deacons finished their regular season 4-4. One Triad school district announced its plans to bring back all students, pre-K to 12th grade students with Alamance Burlington schools, start in-person learning full-time on February 1st. This is possible in part to the school district taking part in a new rapid test program. If a student or staff member shows symptoms, they'll get sent to the school nurse for a nasal swab and then get results within 15 minutes.
Knowing that if we have somebody on campus, our nurses have been trained, in the event that they're exhibiting symptoms, we can find out right then and there whether or not they have COVID-19 and then take appropriate action.
Alamance Burlington is one of 17 districts across the state taking part in this pilot program. Remote learning is still an option for families.
You can always get the latest on COVID-19 in North Carolina on our COVID blog. You can find it on our website, WFMYnews2.com.
Just days after the Rockingham County School Board fired longtime Superintendent Rodney Shotwell, the NAACP announced and denounced his termination. The community has expressed frustration and confusion about the decision. WFMY News 2's Itanese McMiller was there when the organization called for Dr. Shotwell to be reinstated.
Well, the NAACP says its mission is to eliminate discrimination regardless of race or color. They feel the firing of Dr. Rodney Shotwell was just that.
How could this even be possible, to do this to a man that has done nothing wrong?
Members of the Rockingham County NAACP gathered outside the school system's central office to demand Superintendent Dr. Rodney Shotwell be reinstated.
He is a strong advocate of students first, a trailblazer and trendsetter of modern technology, and a positive role model for our community.
Shotwell had been superintendent for nearly 15 years. The decision to end that run happened during a school board vote Monday in a closed session. The 3-4 decision was to end his contract in March.
And a positive role model for our community.
NAACP member Dr. Joseph Bryant says this decision does not reflect the wishes of the community.
We refuse to accept the behavior of this school board to take such a defiant position. It is obvious that this board does not know competent leadership when they see it.
We reached out several times to every board member. This was a statement we received from board chair Kimberly McMichael 2 days ago. She said no reason was provided because the contract allows termination with a 90-day notice.
So that's unacceptable. The community is demanding an explanation, and more so, we are demanding a reversal because we don't see anything wrong, and we just feel that it's a purely political move.
And teachers and former students showed up to the press conference in support of Dr. Rodney Shotwell's reinstatement. What they had to say at 6.
A change in Guilford County's administration. Last night, the Guilford County Board of Commissioners accepted County Manager Marty Lawing's resignation. Lawing had served as county manager for nearly 8 years. The county plans to hire Michael Halford to replace Lawing. Halford is a former longtime Guilford County budget director. He's expected to start in just weeks.
Hey, we got through a day without any concern of rain or wet weather. It's still kind of chilly outdoors to be sure, but we've had a good amount of sunshine. Right now, of course, the sun is setting. In fact, exactly right now, the sunset is at 5:07 nowadays. Temperature is 41 degrees. We have a dew point in the 20s, which usually is that clue of how cold you will get overnight. This is where we stand across the region. Expect us to get cold quickly. In just the next few hours, we're likely to be falling into the 30s with overnight lows in those mid and upper 20s. A lot of dry weather across the south right now. Starting to see some clues, though, of our weekend. Cold front up here. We'll watch another system form near Texas. That'll start to head our way by Sunday into Monday. But tomorrow, that's the dry day of the weekend. So everything good to go for your Saturday. There will be varying amounts of clouds from time to time, so it's not full sun start to finish, but it's a good day. Just a winter one. 20s in the morning, 40s for the afternoon. So there's still a big chill and a bite to the air. Looking at Futurecast, we keep the sunshine around really most of the day tomorrow, so enjoy it. It's a bright sunny day, but Sunday is looking pretty interesting to me. I'll tell you why. We're going to be in the mid-30s Sunday morning with a cold rain developing and not a lot of sign of warm air. I'm starting to think we could actually have a little bit of a wet snow mix on Sunday morning. We'll talk more about that in a second, plus give you an early look at your Christmas forecast.
Greensboro police are looking for information about a shooting that happened in the middle of the day. Police responded to the Circle K gas station on Pinecroft Road around 11:30 this morning. Officers found one person had been shot. Emergency crews took the person to the hospital. They don't have any information on a suspect right now, but if you know anything, call Crime Stoppers. If you plan on heading to the zoo over the next few weeks, hey, your drive just got easier. The Department of Transportation opened the new US 64 Ashboro bypass and zoo connector. Drivers can now follow US 64 from either side of Ashboro to an interchange that connects them directly to the Zoo Parkway closer to the zoo entrance. Construction began in 2015 and cost about $264 million.
COVID-19 changed holiday plans, but not the desire to honor our heroes. The Greensboro chapter of Wreaths Across America canceled its annual ceremony, but a group of Caldwell Academy 8th graders placed wreaths on more than 1,000 veterans' graves for Christmas. The group's mission is remember, honor, teach, and they did just that as they learned who they would be honoring.
It's so important for kids to know that others have come before them and made the ultimate sacrifice.
We have information on how you can donate or sponsor a wreath for next year's event. It's on our website, WFMYnews2.com.
And check out what some other Triad students did in Kernersville. Union Cross Elementary students participated in what they call a parade of joy. Today was pajama day, so kindergarten students and teachers lined up outside in their festive pajamas for a sing-along. They sang to family members and members of the Forsyth County Sheriff's Department and Winston-Salem Fire Department. It was definitely a parade of joy.
Coming up, with just 1 week until Christmas, it is not uncommon to be losing sleep. So much to do, so little time. The solution could be a mattress in the mail. We'll explain when we come back.
Hello, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. They forever go together like a classic combination. Fabulous. Lawmakers have until midnight to pass a bill to keep the government running, and many hope that a stimulus bill will be passed along with it. It is believed, though, that that midnight deadline may come and go, and that lawmakers will be working all weekend. At last look, the stimulus measure included a direct check to you and weekly federal unemployment help. Well, tonight at 5:30, we have two experts in to talk all things stimulus and your money. You can text your questions to those experts, 336-379-5775. You know, it was just yesterday that 2 Want to Know was talking about how 55% of Americans are losing sleep over debt and the worry. Well, along with stress, you may be losing sleep due to your bed. So how do you feel about picking a mattress online and getting it delivered by mail? Check out how Consumer Reports evaluates mattress support for these mail mattresses. Testers drop a weight on each mattress to see how well it resists bounciness. That's a priority if you have a sleep partner that tosses and turns a whole bunch. And this test here assesses how well a mattress keeps its shape over time. I can tell you the contraptions that they use are pretty amazing.
Though these inexpensive mattresses aren't at the top of our ratings, they do still offer decent performance.
Signature Sleep Golden Spire is a great foam mattress, they say, for most body types and sleep styles, and it does exceptionally well in Consumer Reports petite and average back sleeper support tests. Now, this one right here, this one is for couples. This pick is the Costco Nova Form mattress, which performed very good in Consumer Reports tests that measure vibrations across the mattress. Again, under $500, and yes, you don't have to go to a store. It comes in the mail. I put these top picks in the 2 Wants to Know section, so go ahead and look for the web story there.
It's really weird. I actually have that exact mattress. Okay, we're talking about the weather next week. Christmas is coming, if you aren't aware. Christmas Eve looks wild. I think warm, wet, windy. Would anyone be white? Lots of questions that we have to answer for you. We'll try our best right after this.
Hi, my name is Major Jasenia Sablehouse. I'm a veterinarian deployed in Southwest Asia in support of Operation Spartan Shield. I wanted to give a holiday shout out to my family and friends, my husband Scott and my 2 boys, Jacob and Carter. Mommy misses you and I will be home soon. Happy holidays. Bye-bye.
I'm going to start here with a reminder for you, not the weather, but astronomy, something you can see in the sky really in the next 20 minutes. You can check out Saturn and Jupiter. You'll remember they've been getting closer and closer together in the night sky every day. We've had a lot of clouds this week, so I haven't had a good chance to mention this to you. But coming up on Monday, that's the big show. December 21st, they're going to be really, really close to one another. And that is what some people are calling the Christmas star, basically those two planets appearing to be in the same position. I'm hoping a lot that we will have clear sky Monday evening. It's not a guarantee, sorry to say. We do have clear sky for the most part tomorrow, and then as we go into Sunday, where they're getting a little bit more interesting, kind of chilly. Notice our temperatures in the mid-30s there. We have a cold front to the north. We also have low pressure to the west. We'll get a round of chilly rain Sunday morning, and then another round of rain Monday morning. Taking a closer view, it's pretty likely that most of this will be that chilly rainfall, but just looking at things more closely, I actually think there's a decent shot you could get a brief wet snow mixture in with that rain. It's not a guarantee. It would be fun to look at. I wouldn't see any problems with that, but keep that in mind for Sunday morning. That is an impact we possibly could see. Now let's talk about next week and how crazy this looks like. We'll have a very, very strong cold front coming our way for Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve is likely to be warm, wet, and windy, all of those things. We could even have thunderstorms in North Carolina. A couple of models want to turn it into snow on the backside on Christmas Day. That doesn't seem too likely to me. Reason being, we're going to be in the 50s and 60s, and then it changes it over without having the cold air first. That's one of the key rules to getting good snowfall in the Carolinas. You want to have that cold air locked in. Doesn't look likely that that'll be the case this time. That could change. We'll just keep an eye on it. We have about 6 to 7 days to fine tune it for you. But as of right now, the hopes of a white Christmas aren't high. They're kind of low, but that's higher than they usually are. So we'll keep an eye on it. For tonight, partly cloudy down to 27. Remember, check out Jupiter and Saturn. They look great in the next few minutes. 7-day forecast, pretty busy. We'll have some rain, maybe a little wet snow Sunday morning. Dry for a couple days before Christmas Eve.
Social media has helped people stay connected during the pandemic.
But it also helped one local high school athlete make it to the next level.
How he used his online connections to kick off his college career. That's next.
Hey, Mark, go ahead and tell me what you had for lunch so we can get a mic check.
Sure, I had scrambled eggs and bacon for lunch today.
Ooh, we like lunch for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay,
Yeah.
how about you, Kevin?
Oh, it's probably a TV dinner warmed up, one of the smart ones, Tanya. And I ate about 2 o'clock, just been working most of the day. So I think I'd rather have Mark's lunch, I believe. So.
Yeah, the scrambled eggs and stuff
High school football players put their pen to the paper this week, signing to take their game to the next level.
High school football players' first games, but that did not stop one Triad athlete.
WFMY News 2's Amanda Ferguson shows us how he got into his dream school without taking the field.
The pandemic canceled a lot of things, like football recruiting. But that didn't stop a Southern Alamance kicker from being able to play at the next level. In fact, he took advantage of what he had at his fingertips.
You couldn't come on campus, you couldn't do camps, they couldn't see you live, they couldn't do normal recruiting stuff.
How do you show college coaches you're good enough to be a part of their team? Southern Alamance kicker senior Stephen Glenn used the power of social media.
Basically, I just had to make the best profile of myself.
He would send tweets like this, urging coaches to watch him.
They can tell who really cares about it, and that sort of made it easier because I feel like I separated myself from the kids that might have been on the same playing field as me in college's eyes with the Twitter situation.
It led him here, signing to play for Navy this week.
Opportunity to play football at the next level was something I couldn't pass up at that high of a level. It just meant a lot to me and my family to be able to succeed, especially with these uncertain times.
It's also his dream school.
It's like a perfect fit. Before I went trying to work to get to the next level, I wanted to be in the Navy. I wanted to go into aviation warfare. Everything coming together with the academics, athletics, and then the career down the road.
He says he's been tweeting out 3 to 4 videos a week since March, and now it's paying off.
God works in mysterious ways. It literally almost anything is possible if you put your mind to it.
Did something just happen? Okay. I heard Amanda's stuff and then it just cut out. Oh, okay. All right. Yep. Hey, Kevin, just count to 10 and then Mark right after him. You do the same.
Sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, you're good. Mark, you're up.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay. Plan for 16 weeks with $300 per week, $300 billion for small businesses, money for, okay. All right. Or I'm probably going to throw it to you, Mark, first, just okay, I know you've been watching it like a hawk to see what's happening, this, that, and the other. Kevin, I don't know if you want me to say, and I know you're particularly watching what, X, Y, or Z, like timeline, or what would you be comfortable talking about?
I guess how it will impact the 2020 tax return, and like you were talking about the $300 credit.
Okay, but the fact that this stimulus wouldn't count against your taxes, you're not going to have to pay it back, that kind of stuff. That's what you'll talk about. Okay.
Yes.
So when I throw it to Mark first, hey, give me the rundown of what you know, and then I'll be like, okay, and what's another key fact that we need to know about it with our tax returns? You can talk about how it's not going to count against our taxes. We'll get the $300 thing afterwards.
Okay, sure.
Yep. Okay. Fabulous.
Are you working from home?
Yes.
Okay. I thought it looked like you might be working from home today. Okay.
Yep. Believe it or not, those first stimulus payments, they went out back in April. Now we're in December and Congress is close to reaching a deal for a new stimulus check. That's right. And the relief bill is aimed at helping everyone, healthcare workers, students, the unemployed. It's a $908 billion package that includes a stimulus check between $600 and $700. So what else does that mean for you? Well, today we want to bring in two different experts to talk about stimulus and your money. And so we have Mark Hensley with North Carolina's AARP and also Kevin Robinson from Kevin Robinson Taxes and Services. All right, so let's first just go down the gamut. What have we heard today, Mark? What do we think is going to happen?
We've been watching this all day long. While congressional leaders have broadly outlined a package that would include direct cash payments, what we call stimulus, to most Americans, it would be in the form of a $600 payment. This would include to many individuals, many Americans, as well as dependent children. So, you know, the last time it was a $500 amount for a dependent. So $100 more, but we don't know the income parameters. We don't know when they're going to make the decision because this is caught up in a much bigger Corona relief package, as you mentioned, totaling over $900 billion.
Okay, so that is kind of like a brief overview. We're going to kind of go into some of the other details, but one of the biggest things that we get asked all the time, whether it's the first stimulus or even now this second stimulus, is how is it going to affect me later on?
Well, that's certainly a valid question, Tanya. As Mark mentioned, it's just a very fluid situation developing, and it looks like we're in stimulus part number 2 going on. And then obviously the $64,000 question, so to speak, is it taxable? Well, the good thing is that it's not. It's actually an advance on a rebate credit that will show up on the 2020 return, so it doesn't impact your taxes. It just gets reconciled on the return with the credit that you're due based on income and filing status.
And of course, we were just talking, is it going to count on your 2020 taxes or your next year's taxes? Because chances are it's going to be that the most of the payments aren't going to get to people until 2021.
Well, that's a very valid question as we were talking beforehand. And I would say basically if the stimulus is received, the second one, and there's talk of even a third one I read today, but it'd be more likely a 2021 taxable event. So that means that there would be having to pretty much reconcile that on the 2021 return, which actually means 2022 when that gets filed. So.
Right. And so we want to make it clear that from what we know, you will not have to pay this stimulus back, just like you didn't have to pay the first stimulus back. And I don't know if you know it in the tax code or if you need to check it during the break. That tax credit, is it a full $1,200 or is it even more than that?
I know, well, as far as I would have to do some research on the second stimulus, but the first one is the tax credit was based on, you know, number one, their individual, their filing status, their income, if dependents and all that. So basically it would start at, for the first one is at $1,200, goes to $2,400 or more with, you know, dependents. So I think it depends on how it all shakes out is what those credits are going to get reflected on the return for number one, which will be 2020, and number two stimulus would be 2021. So yes, it would match that. And then if a person got less of a stimulus payment than the credit they're due, then it gets reconciled on the return for 2020 and 2021. So.
Oh, well, isn't that interesting? You could actually get more money than what the stimulus payment was because the credit's going to be bigger for you.
Very possible, yes. When they file their 2020 return and reconcile it, for example, against the first stimulus back in the spring, they could get a credit for more than the check came in. And then generally, if that check was bigger than the credit, then generally, most cases, they don't have to pay it back. So again, it's typically a tax neutral as far as a negative impact from the tax-wise from the stimulus.
Okay. And I know one of the big things, Mark, was who's going to be a dependent. You know, a lot of college students got left out of getting the stimulus payment. Some older adults who are counted as dependents got left out of the stimulus payments. I know that AARP was trying to rally to make that not happen for a second time.
Right, that is correct. And first of all, let me just say to the viewers, the definition of a dependent with